No one expected the quiet, charming stew Kizzi Kitchener to drop this kind of bombshell. In an episode that left the entire crew stunned into silence, Kizzy revealed a secret that instantly made jaws drop across the yacht. "It's new," she said with a playful grin, before casually admitting, "I came off my last boat with 3 STDs. For a moment, the entire interior froze. The dinner chatter died, the laughter evaporated, and even the cameras seemed to zoom in a little closer. The look on her crewmates' faces said it all, pure disbelief. But Kizzy wasn't done yet. When they pressed for details, she clarified with surprising calm, explaining that she'd been diagnosed with all 3 infections at the same time, not on separate occasions. Then came the kicker. "I don't have anything anymore," she added with a shrug, as if she'd just mentioned misplacing a pair of sunglasses instead of dropping one of the wildest confessions in below-deck history. Now, before we dive into how this revelation spiraled into more shocking drama on board, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Trust me, what happened next between Kizzy, Chef Josh, and Bosun Nathan is something no one saw coming. Not even Captain Sandy. Because beneath the calm surface of the Mediterranean, the waves of chaos were just beginning to rise. Kizzy had already caught viewers' attention with her flirtatious charm and quick wit. But as the season unfolded, she became the kind of character reality TV producers dream about. Unpredictable, magnetic, and just a little bit dangerous. Earlier in the season, she shared a steamy connection with Chef Josh Bingham, the handsome and intense new addition to the galley. Sparks flew immediately, and Kizzy didn't try to hide it. "I'm a massive flirt," she admitted in her confessional. "I love when the person I'm seeing is kind of obsessed with me in a slightly unhealthy way." The line was playful, but it carried a chill. Kizzy knew exactly how to push buttons, how to make people chase her, and how to keep every interaction just one step away from chaos. Then came her confession that sounded straight out of a thriller. "I don't want you to come knocking at my door with a knife and be like, 'I want to wear your skin.' Not that kind of obsession." That statement summed up Kizzy perfectly. Dramatic, funny, self-aware, and yet deeply vulnerable. And in the tight, high-pressure world of yachting, vulnerability is like blood in the water. As the episodes rolled on, Kizzy's energy became the heartbeat of the crew's social scene. The chemistry between her and Josh turned heads. But before it could develop into something real, a new player entered the picture. Nathan Gallagher, the confident, sharp-edged bosun with a mischievous grin. From the moment Kizzy and Nathan shared a laugh on deck, it was clear something was shifting. A new connection was forming, and it was making waves among the crew. But here's the thing. Kizzy wasn't just flirting for fun. She was navigating heartbreak, chaos, and the ghosts of her past all at once. When producers asked her about her dating life, her response revealed a glimpse into the whirlwind behind that confident smile. "When I'm single, I just feel free to act however I want to act," she said. Then came another confession, one even more bizarre than the last. She explained how she once dated a man who, after they'd already slept together, confessed to being in a cult. Yes, a cult. And just like that, viewers realized Kizzy's life wasn't just about yacht parties and crew drama. It was the kind of unpredictable chaos that made every episode feel like a reality thriller. Meanwhile, Captain Sandy Yawn and Chief Stew Aesha Scott had their hands full, trying to keep the yacht running smoothly. Season 10 of Below Deck Mediterranean was already being hailed as one of the most unpredictable seasons yet. The return of fan favorites like Aesha and Max Salvador added familiarity, but the new crew, Kizzy, Victoria San Juan, Nathan, Josh, Christian Tremino, and Tessa Budd, brought pure dynamite energy. Aesha herself hinted at how wild the season would be, saying in an interview that viewers this whole entire season are going to be absolutely enthralled. She wasn't exaggerating. Each charter brought a new twist, a new emotional explosion, and a fresh wave of drama that no one could have predicted. Captain Sandy agreed, calling this crew the most settled she's had in years, though fans watching the Kizzy chaos unfold might have begged to differ. Still, with Aesha handling the interior and Sandy steering the ship, the balance between professionalism and madness somehow held. But that balance wouldn't last for long. Because while Kizzy's past was making headlines, her present was about to get a lot more complicated. The moment she opened up about her STD scare, a quiet tension began to ripple through the crew. Gossip spread faster than the sea breeze, and the question everyone whispered behind closed doors was simple. Why would she share something like that on camera? Rumors on a super yacht travel faster than the wind, and by the next morning, everyone had heard Kizzy's confession. What was meant to be a moment of raw honesty quickly became the most talked-about topic on the boat. Some crew members admired her courage, others whispered behind her back, and a few couldn't help but wonder what else she might reveal next. Chef Josh Bingham, who had been quietly drawn to Kizzy since day one, suddenly found himself unsure. The chemistry they shared in the galley, those playful glances over plating and prep, now carried a new tension. For a man who thrived on control, Kizzy's unpredictability was both intoxicating and terrifying. At breakfast, Josh kept his tone casual as he teased her about her honesty hour, but there was an unmistakable edge in his voice. Kizzy laughed it off. She always did, but you could feel the shift. The once lighthearted flirtation now had shadows behind it. And just when the awkwardness began to settle, Nathan Gallagher stepped right into the middle of it all. Nathan, the bosun with charm to burn, wasn't one to shy away from attention. He and Kizzy clicked instantly. Their banter on deck turned into shared drinks after hours, and soon the entire crew could sense the magnetic pull between them. For a woman who thrived on energy and excitement, Nathan was the perfect storm, confident, funny, and just a bit dangerous. Josh noticed. The chef's usually calm exterior started to crack, his focus in the kitchen slipping as his emotions simmered just beneath the surface. A few sarcastic comments here, a cold shoulder there. It didn't take long for the tension to boil over. "You've got time for deck crew now?" Josh muttered one night when Kizzy came into the galley. Kizzy smirked, unfazed. "Maybe I just like someone who doesn't take life so seriously." That line hit harder than she intended. The entire exchange was caught on camera, and by the next morning, it was all anyone could talk about. Aesha Scott, ever the peacemaker, tried to step in. As chief stew, she'd seen more than her fair share of yacht romances gone wrong, but even she admitted privately that there was something different about Kizzy, something raw and unpredictable that made it impossible to look away. In her confessional, Aesha shared, "Kizzy's energy is wild. One moment she's laughing, the next she's dropping bombshells. But that's what makes her so fascinating. She's not afraid to be real." Still, the boat was reaching a breaking point. Behind the charm and laughter, Kizzy was carrying something heavier than anyone realized. That STD confession wasn't about shock value. It was about survival. She'd been through chaos before, both in and out of yachting, and her openness was her armor. She didn't hide behind a perfect image. She shattered it before anyone else could. And yet, that raw honesty made her vulnerable. As the crew prepared for a high-profile charter, the tension below deck mirrored the pressure above it. Guests demanded perfection, but below the surface, personal emotions were unraveling. Kizzy's flirtation with Nathan started spilling into their work. Small glances while serving guests, shared smirks when no one was watching. Captain Sandy noticed. "Keep it professional," she warned, her tone firm but fair. "You can have fun off charter, but not when guests are on board." Kizzy nodded respectfully, but old habits die hard. That night, after the guests retired and the champagne bottles were cleared, the crew gathered in the crew mess to unwind. Music, laughter, and a little too much wine filled the air. Nathan leaned close, whispering something that made Kizzy laugh. And just like that, Josh walked in. The room went silent. The look on Josh's face said everything. He didn't need to speak. His disappointment was louder than any outburst. Kizzy, ever the performer, brushed it off with a smile, pretending not to notice the emotional wreckage left in her wake. But the cameras caught what her crewmates didn't, a flash of guilt in her eyes. Later in her confessional, she admitted, "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I like feeling alive. Maybe too much sometimes." That's the thing about below deck. When you're trapped on a yacht, there's no escape from the fallout. Every glance, every whisper, every emotion gets amplified by the walls of steel and sea. As the next morning dawned, the crew tried to move on. Guests were arriving for another luxury charter, and Captain Sandy's leadership kept everyone focused. But even Sandy couldn't ignore the undercurrent building below deck. "I've always said it. Emotions on a yacht spread like wildfire," she told Aesha during a private moment. And right now, Kizzy's lighting matches without realizing it. Aesha nodded, half smiling. Yeah, but at least she's honest about it. Honest, yes, but that honesty was starting to cost her. In the galley, Josh began distancing himself, barely acknowledging Kizzy unless it was about work. On deck, Nathan's attention shifted as well, especially after a stern warning from Sandy about professionalism. Kizzy suddenly found herself adrift. The same crew who'd once laughed with her now kept their distance. It was reality TV gold. Heartbreak, pride, vulnerability, all wrapped in one. But for Kizzy, it was real. As the episode closed, Kizzy sat alone on the bow, staring out at the dark waves, the night breeze tangling her hair. Her voice cracked as she admitted softly, I just wanted to be loved, not judged. But maybe I made it too easy for people to misunderstand me. And with that confession, viewers saw the other side of Kizzi Kitchener. Not the wild party girl or the bold confessor, but a young woman still searching for peace in a world that thrives on her chaos. But the Mediterranean season was far from over, and Kizzy's story had only just begun. Because what came next would not only change her standing with the crew, but force Captain Sandy to make one of the toughest calls of the season.